Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. To the brightness of your rising, the Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. The Gentiles shall come to your light. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. The Gentiles shall come to your light. Arise and shine. The Gentiles shall come to your light. Arise and shine. Your light is come. The glory of God is upon you. Arise and shine. Your light is come. The Gentiles shall come to your light. Arise and shine. Your light is come. The glory of God is upon you. Arise and shine. Your light is come. The Gentiles shall come to your light. I see it. Your light is shining. I see it. It is shining. I see it. The light is shining. The Gentiles shall come to your light. I see it. It is shining. I see it. It is shining. I see it. The light is shining. The Gentiles shall come to your light. Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. The Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes round about and see. They gather together to come to you. Your son shall come from afar and near, and your daughter shall be nursed at your side. Lift up your eyes round about and see. They gather together to come to you. Your son shall come from afar and near, and your daughter shall be nursed at your side. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. The Gentiles shall come to your life. I see them, they are coming. I see them, they are coming. I see them, they are coming. The Gentiles shall come to your light. The Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. The Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness. Hello, you're welcome once again. Amazing evening, everyone. Please, if you are connecting us, let's know where you're connecting us from. Let's see it in the chat. I can see few people are joining us now. You're all welcome once again to another Blessed Family Live. You are all welcome. Let's know where you are connecting us from, please. Let's know where you are connecting us from the chat. Is it YouTube or Facebook? Let's know that both are working if you're online now.
Amazing evening. Let's know those who are connecting us on Facebook, on YouTube. We want to be sure that both channels are working. Thank you. Please let's know where you are connecting us from. We can only see only one person chatting with us. We are starting very soon. Amazing evening once again. Thank you, David. Thank you very much from YouTube. If you are connecting us from Facebook, let's see you that Facebook is working this week. Let's see it. And then please share this link to others. Let them know that this program has started tonight. If you are connecting us from Facebook, we are yet to see anyone from Facebook. We have 5 people online now, but we are yet to. If you are connecting us, let's see you. Let's see your message in the message chat, please. Oh, but okay, Reverend. Thank you for connecting us. Is that Reverend? Okay, Reverend Bolanle. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for connecting us tonight. Thank you from YouTube. Happy Sunday. Yes, if you're connecting us from Facebook, let's see you. Let's see it in the chat mode. Oh, my sister. Thank you very much from Facebook. Sister Namade, long time. Thank you for connecting us. It's good to hear from you. Thank you so much. It's an amazing evening. We are all very expectant tonight, and I know we are going to learn a lot. Thank you for connecting us. Let's know where you are connecting us from. We will start soon. We'll bring our guest up soon. Please, if you are joining us from YouTube, Facebook, let's see you. Let's see you in the chat. Say hi to us. Let's know we are really connecting. We will start soon. We know people will be joining us as we continue. We don't want to waste time. Thank you. It's an amazing evening. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. We'll just wait for a few minutes for people to connect us. Thank you. Oh, music lover, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for connecting us tonight. Thank you. Yes, yes. Let's see you in the chat box, please. Oh, Sister Dorcas, thank you from Coventry. Thank you very much for connecting us tonight. It's going to be an amazing evening. We have our guest in the house. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just 1 or 2 minutes, we'll start. Thank you. Now, once again, you're all welcome. Let's see you connecting us through the chat. That's where you put your questions. The doctor is in the house. I'm going to introduce her very soon. And we said tonight, be empowered to thrive. Tonight, the person we have in the house is someone that is known to our community, to the Blessed Family community. Let me just bring her on. Now, Dr. Taiwo Durowade. God has used that for us during the last Blessed Family event, and we were so blessed. And we had awesome feedbacks. That's why we are bringing her back. In fact, I was thinking it to be next year because she's very busy. But God has honored us with her, and we have her today, and we are all expectant. We know we are going to learn, we are going to unlearn, we are going to be educated, we are going to be impacted tonight. And what's the topic? Let me bring her up first. Oh, Mommy Omoyeni from Birmingham. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You are welcome, Doctor. This is
Thank you.
Dr. Taiwo Durowade. Please, let's see you showing love to her in the
Thank
chat.
you.
Let's see you showing love to her in the chat. Welcome her, welcome her. Oh, Daddy Kayode, thank you very much for connecting us from Birmingham. Thank you, thank you. Like I said, she's familiar to us in our community. She ministered to us in the last Blessed Family event on our head talk, and we were blessed. We were blessed. And so people are saying, bring her back. And we thank God we are able to get her back today. It can only be God. It can only be God. And then she will introduce herself. But let me just briefly, for what she's talking to us tonight, is when I asked her, what are you going to bless us? She said, be empowered to thrive. And there's something she said, and it was key. And that struck me. She said, getting older should not mean deterioration, but it is indeed a time to thrive. Most of us, there are so many health challenges we experience when we are getting older. And we think, oh, it's old age. And we just take it for granted. Oh, it's old age. Oh, it's my age. But the doctor said, no, that assumption is wrong. That as we are getting older, it's a time for us to thrive. There are knowledge we need to know, medical knowledge, things we need to know to make us thrive. So I'm sure she's going to empower us tonight. She's going to tell us the secret of thriving as we grow. I don't want to say in old age. I don't want people to think this live streaming is for people who are old. But as we grow older, no matter what your age is, as we grow older, there is that wisdom and knowledge to be in health. God even desired our health prosper as our soul prosperous. That's what the scripture says. So it is our how do I say, it's a blessing from God for us to thrive, for our health to thrive, not to be in sickness or necessary illness. And God will give us that knowledge tonight in Jesus' name. Who is Dr. Taiwo Durowade? She's a gynecologist. She's going to introduce herself, but briefly, she's a gynecologist practicing in Chicago, Illinois, and she's going to talk more about herself, what she does there. But let me tell you, we're happy to have you tonight, Doctor. We are grateful for your time. We are really grateful. So for the first 10, 15 minutes, she's going to talk to us. Please let your question be in the chat because she's here to answer some questions that are bothering us. Please, from my experience in her surgery, in her practice, she's going to answer us tonight. And I pray that the Lord will give her the wisdom to impart us. So,
Amen.
Dr. Taiwo Durowade, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mommy. Thank you so much for having me back on the Blessed Family platform. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you for the awesome, encouraging feedback from the last time. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I don't take it for granted. As Mommy said, I'm Dr. Taiwo Durowade. I'm an OBGYN. I practice in the suburban area of Chicago. Chicago is a city that is in Illinois, Midwestern part of the United States. I've been in practice for 7 years now. But I branched out on my own and established my own practice, my own private practice in 2022. So I've been in private practice for a year and 9 months now. Um, and so that has helped me to focus a little bit more of my practice how I want to focus it. So instead of doing delivering babies and doing all that stuff, I focused it on just pure women's health. So my expertise is in menopause. My expertise is in hormone replacement therapy. I do surgery. I do fibroid surgery, ovarian cysts, and I do all women's health. But for now, I'm choosing not to do pregnancy. By God's grace, as I expand, I'll add people on who would now do pregnancy, and I can stay focused on the part that I enjoy, the gynecology part. So I tend to refer to myself as a gynecologist instead of an OBGYN because I'm not doing the OB part presently. And that has just been in the last year and a half that changed. But I have a passion for women's health. I have a passion for seeing women just live an excellent life, whether it's in career, whether it's in health, whether it's in marriage. I just, because every day of 80% of my time is talking to women. Every day I'm talking to women. 9 to 5 I'm in the office talking to women. When I go home I'm talking to women. And so I hear a lot of things for women, and I know what I am able to do medically to help them enjoy their lives, live their best lives, and just be in a better position to give the best of themselves. And so that's my passion. My passion is to make women live better lives. So that's why I'm doing what I do, and I have the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you for that intro. Please, if you are connecting us, Sister Oluwashem from Coventry, thank you. Let's see you in the chat. Please, the doctor will speak to us, and if there are questions bothering us, she will answer them. But we have to see it in the chat. Let's know when you are connecting us, either from YouTube or Facebook. Let's know you are all welcome. And I know tonight God has set the table before us. And thank you, Doctor. Can you just continue the next 10
Okay.
minutes?
Okay, Ma. Like I said, my passion is for women thriving. And so I'll start from, because I see women from ages as young as 16 up until 70s and 90s. So if we're starting from our teenagers, our young adults, most things that they come to me for are periods. And so we have women who are having periods that don't allow them to go to school or don't allow them to go to work, or they're missing school because it's too painful. And we have parents who maybe are afraid of what that would mean for their children. Your period should not put you in your period should not disrupt your life. Basically, I don't believe any part of our women health should disrupt our lives. Um so your period should not disrupt. So whether you're a father, whether you're a mother, if you have a daughter who's struggling with painful periods or heavy periods, I always say take her to a gynecologist. Now, what happens when they come to the gynecologist is they hear birth control and they get afraid. You know, from our community, everybody is afraid of birth control. Now, birth control is not just for birth control. Birth control helps to regulate periods. Birth control helps to make periods less painful. Some people, their periods are every 3 months or every 5 months. Birth control helps to give them a monthly period. Um, yes, where our goal is to figure out why it's happening. But for most people, there's no cause. There's something called primary dysmenorrhea, meaning there's no cause for the painful periods. There are people who have secondary dysmenorrhea. Secondary is due to something causing it. Primary is we don't have a cause. So for those young girls who don't have a cause, our solution is to give them pain medicines and to give them birth control. Um, and so I don't want us to be afraid of birth control because we don't know a lot about it. It's not going to make girls promiscuous. I promise that there's evidence that shows that just because they're on birth control is not going to make them promiscuous, but it's going to help them thrive in that stage of their lives. And then as people get older, women get pregnant. One of the things that I encounter with women who, the pregnancy is all about the baby, all about everybody's welcoming a new child. But we don't recognize that bringing a new baby into the house can create a very, very stressful environment. Everywhere, children are our heritage. We're happy to have them in the home. But we have to remember that, especially in the United States, in the United Kingdom, everybody's working. So we don't have that community that we have in Nigeria, where there are people around to help you, people around to help the new couple. And the onus is on the woman. It really falls on the woman to kind of handle everything. And so it's important for family members and people around to recognize that the burden of caring for this newborn, caring for the home, and still being present in her relationship with her husband can be a lot for the woman. And so I see all these women in my office, they're exhausted, they are burdened, they feel like they're not being the best mother, they're not being the best wife, the house is dirty, all these expectations that they have set in their minds about how they should behave during that time. My counsel to those women is to give yourself room. Give yourself some room. You can only do one thing at a time. You're a human being. That's why you have your partner, you have your husband. And so it's very important for the husbands to be as emotionally available and emotionally involved as possible. So the way people do it here, if they don't have family to help them around, they take turns. This is the period of time where I will sleep. This is the period of time where the husband will sleep. We take turns doing this work, and it's not just all on the woman because it can break a woman down. There are a lot of women suffering from psychological problems because they are overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed with all the responsibilities and they don't know if they're doing anything right. And so having a community is very important, whether a church community, whether even your doctor. People just come to my office just to talk to me. They don't have a problem. They just come and talk. And I just sit there and I listen
To
and,
them.
try to provide as much as possible. And so my counsel to those women during that pregnancy, postpartum period is give yourself room. You can only do one thing at a time. Remove all these expectations from your mind and focus on what you can do. What you can do at this time is take care of this baby. What if you are able to, you can outsource where you have somebody come in and clean. If you can afford it, you can have somebody come in and clean. There are people you know they have in some countries they have this postpartum care where nurses or home help will come after the woman goes home. We don't have that in United States. That's something, by God's grace, I'm thinking of starting, where we can have an agency that will send women home, or people home. Might not be women, people home with the woman, check on her once or twice a week, make sure her mind is right.
Mm.
And also be there for the husband. The husband is enduring all this as well. Give them a little break. Let the couple sleep while somebody who is certified, who is professional, watches the child. And so that's something hopefully for the future, by God's grace. But in the meantime, while we cannot, do what you can. Outsource. If you cannot cook, outsource. Buy the food. Put it in the house. Stop putting all these expectations on yourself as the woman to do all these things. And also for the husband, try as much as possible to be emotionally available. For women, having somebody who is emotionally available, even if you're not doing the cooking, you are there to listen, you are there to be a shoulder she can lean on. It's very, very important. And then as women now get into their 30s, 40s, they start noticing one thing postpartum that I wanted to touch on is that pregnancy increases hormones a lot. Estrogen levels are super, super high. And I might not, be speaking for some women, but sex drive for women is also very high during that period of time, during pregnancy, because your hormones are very high. But you'll notice postpartum, it sharply drops. No sex drive. Number two, no energy because you're exhausted from caring for the new baby. And then for some women who are breastfeeding, there's vaginal dryness. Now, this is because the estrogen levels have dropped. Estrogen levels are high when you're pregnant to support the pregnancy, but once the placenta is out, estrogen levels drop immediately. And the body parts that suffer from that, would be your energy level and the vaginal environment. Also, because you're breastfeeding, you're suppressing your hormones. You're breastfeeding to provide nutrition for this baby. The body thinks, oh, we're breastfeeding. There's no reason to release estrogen. The estrogen levels are low, so no sex drive, and then vaginal dryness. So a lot of women, in getting back into being sexually active after they have a baby, it created a lot of problems in their relationships. I have many patients like that. They'll come to the office and say, I don't it's uncomfortable. I'm already tired from having to do all this work with the baby, and I do not want to be with my husband. It's
Doctor,
creating a lot of problems. And
doctor,
so, yes,
sorry,
ma'am.
just a minute. Please, if you are connecting us, let's see it in the chat. Then now I want to be seeing your questions. You are still going to continue briefing us, but I remember the issue of vaginal dryness. Later on, I'm going to ask you a few questions on that
Okay.
because I've seen it on your YouTube, one of your messages, whether on Instagram or YouTube, about
Yeah.
several ways you can deal with vaginal dryness. So
Yes.
many women are facing that. So many women are having problem, having pleasurable sex with their
Mm,
spouses. And one of the causes is this vaginal dryness, which we
yes.
don't know. And there are so many myth,
Oh, yes.
myth about it. And
Yes.
how
Yeah.
about one of your messages? So I don't want to divert you from what you were saying, but I'm noting it down. You are going to talk
Okay.
about how one can, deal with that,
Deal with
how one
it.
can overcome that. Please,
Okay.
let's see your question in the chat. Men, women, whatever issue you are having, the doctor is here. That is why we have this 1 hour live streaming. Don't let her go without you putting your questions there. We're expecting it in the chat, and let's know where you are connecting us from. With our sister Funke Ibikunle from Canada. Thank you. You're welcome on board. Pastor Collins, wow, you are able to join us tonight. Thank you so much, sir, from Port Harcourt. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Let's know where you are connecting us from, and let's have your questions. It may be questions relating to you or somebody you know, or your daughter or yourself. And like I said, I've told doctor to touch the aspect of men too. And then she's talking about younger ones now. She's still going to talk about how we can thrive, how those who are older, the way you can manage your health, that we don't need to assume that it's because I'm
Mm,
getting older. Some of these
mhm.
things she's going to touch, I believe time will permit us. Let's see your questions in that chat. That's the way we can connect you. Thank you. And I can see Kainde connecting us. I'm excited. Kainde Durowade, we are bringing Kainde too. I don't want to talk about that now on a different thing. We thank God. Thank you for everyone. Thank you everyone connecting us tonight. We are so glad, and we believe you will leave this live streaming more impacted, more enlightened. Thank you very much. Thank you. Can you continue?
Yes, ma'am. So we're talking about the women who are around that childbearing age. You know how they can thrive. Like I said, um, the goal is to relieve yourself of the expectations. Do what you can. For the part about becoming intimate with your husband after having a baby, it can create a lot of anxiety for women because the childbearing process is very overwhelming, and so part of that process is knowing what is wrong, knowing what is causing the problem, knowing that it's not you. It's not because you suddenly have no interest in your husband. It's because your hormones are fluctuating during that time. And you are giving a lot of yourself. You've given a lot of your body. You're giving more of your body as you're breastfeeding. Like I said, it suppresses hormones. And so there are ways to handle those situations to help you such that your relationship with your husband doesn't break down because now you have children. And then as women get into that 30s, 40s, busy lives, everybody's leading a busy life. You're working a regular job, you're going to all the children's activities, their school activities. There's usually, it's like there's no time for yourself anymore. There's no time to do what you need to do or you want to do. What I tell women around that age is you have to be intentional. It's
That's
not
true.
going to happen just because you want it to happen. You're not going to suddenly have time for yourself. You're not going to wake up one day and realize, oh, I'm free all day. It's not going to happen. You have to be intentional. You have to schedule it. You have to schedule the time that you spend with the children. You have to schedule the time you spend with your husband. You have to schedule the time you spend with yourself. It has to be on your calendar. You have to make an effort to do those things. And the thing with us during that period of time where we're taking care of everybody else is that we're ignoring ourselves. So
Hmm.
we might be cooking well for everybody else, but we're not eating when they're eating, or we're not exercising because we don't have time and we have to take care of the house and we have to. And so women tend to start putting on weight during this period of time, 30s, 40s, they start putting on weight. And so then all these new things start coming up with heavier period. They're like, after I had children, my periods got heavier. Part of that is because we've put on weight.
Hmm.
you know Part of that is because we're not exercising, we don't have the time to exercise, or we're not eating like we should be eating because we're busy taking care of everybody else. So I want to just center women in that it's okay to be doing all those things, because as nurturers, that's what we want to do, but you have to be intentional
That's
about
right.
yourself.
That's
And so when women start noticing that, the first thing to go, when they start noticing that transition from that early 40s going into their mid 50s, the first thing to go is sex drive.
hmm.
The first thing to just fly out the window is that I see women who are 39, barely 40, 37, 38, barely 40, who are telling me that they have absolutely no desire to be with their husbands or their partners. And so I tell my patients' partners something. Sexual desire for a woman starts in her mind.
That's right.
Sexual desire for a woman starts in her mind. Unlike men, where it's physical. They are moved by what they see. They can get in the mood in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. For women, it's a process. And this is why God made us differently, right?
Yes.
For women, it starts in her mind. She has to feel that emotional connection with her partner.
That's right.
She has
You're
to
right.
feel respected by her partner. She has to
Mhm.
feel loved. She has
That's
to feel like she matters. She has to feel like you listen. So it might not be that you helped her today washing dishes, but you listened to what she had to say. You checked on her. I have some patients where they'll be like, this is going on. There's no desire. I don't want to be with my husband. It's creating a problem. And then I start asking questions. So, okay, what time do you go to bed? So it's like,
mm.
oh, I'm in bed by 7 and he's not home yet.
Wow. Wow.
Or he works 3 jobs. So we don't see each other. We see each other in the morning and we, so
Oh my
how
God.
am I going to work with,
Oh my God.
right? And so being present, right? Being emotionally present for your spouse, for your, is very important to make the woman feel the desire. Imagine a woman who's worked her regular job, comes home taking care of the children, cleaning up the house, but and then remember, this is around that 30s hormones, 30s 40s, where her hormones are starting to decline. And like I said, the first thing that goes is sex drive. So when I check these women's hormones, their testosterone is like low, low, low. If normal testosterone is 60, I have women who are 37, 38, their testosterone is less than 3. How is a woman whose testosterone is less than 3 supposed to do all this work, do her regular job, take care of the children, cook and clean, and have the desire for sex at the end of the day?
Mm,
So there's some responsibility on the part of the husband
that's
to
right.
help with the emotional connection,
That's right.
right? Help with the emotional connection, talk with her, meet her needs. It's important to meet her needs. Because when you're meeting her needs, you're making her feel loved. When she's feeling loved, she's connecting with you emotionally. And so when it's time to initiate sex,
Men in the
you're not
house, I hope you
stronger.
are listening. Men, I hope you are listening.
And
When
it doesn't have to be monetary. Again, there's some women, yeah, it's gifts, but it doesn't have to be monetary. It's an emotional connection that
that's
women
right.
need to
That's right.
feel, to get in the mood for sex. For men, like I said, it's physical. But like I said, for those women, when they come to me and we talk about lifestyle, we talk about weights, we talk about diet, but I also check their testosterone. If their testosterone is low, then I talk to them about replacing testosterone. Now, a lot of people worry about hormones, a lot of people worry about all these kind of things, but we have safer ways to give hormones these days.
No, that's right.
And with what I do with my patients is, I give it in form of bioidentical hormones. So they're from plants. They look like the ones our plants, the plants make. And so it's testosterone from plants, um, estrogen from plants. And these women are now the ones, they have energy again. They don't do all this work at the end of the day and are exhausted and crash. They have energy at the end of the day. They have the sexual desire. Now their testosterone is higher. They have more energy. Their metabolism is higher. They feel motivated. What happens to women as they get older is they're demotivated. All the things they want to do, they don't end up doing. Even if it's to go out and have dinner with their friends, they're just, I'm just tired. I've worked all day. I got to take care of the house. So they're not engaging, like they would when they were younger. And so what I tell patients in this time is, yes, you want to recognize, because at this point it's no longer you. At this point is your hormones. So you want to recognize it's a hormonal problem. It has a hormonal solution.
Thank,
Now there are things I do for people who don't want hormones. We talk about exercise.
thank you, doctor. Because this area you are going to, I actually want you to talk more about it. I've gained a lot from your previous message on dealing with this issue of hormonal imbalance, which
Yes.
has a lot of effect on us. And like I said, maybe I have a lot of questions in my head, but I think let's take it one by one. Please, if you are connecting us, let's see your questions in the chat. The doctor is here to answer our question. Now, I want you to talk briefly because I still want you to talk about this issue of vaginal dryness because it
Mhm.
affects sex between couples. And
Mhm.
most of the time, the blame is always on the women. Meanwhile,
Right.
the women, they are having problem because if you have vaginal dryness, you can't engage, you can't enjoy sex. So it's
Right.
one issue in marriage. But before that, how do you deal? Because I had you discuss about different ways of dealing with hormonal imbalance.
Mhm.
There are some of us that are scared of using one aspect or the especially those that have reached menopause. Please,
Yeah.
can you in the next 2 3 minutes, doctor,
Yes.
talk about that? Thank
Yes.
you.
And so, hormonal, as women get older, the ovaries are the ones that are responsible for hormones. And so the ovaries start shutting down. This is why fertility also goes down as women get older. It's harder to get pregnant, more miscarriages as when women are older, because the ovaries are shutting down. So these hormones are reducing in the body: estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, um, all these things. And so what I tell those women is I check their hormone levels and I show it to them. And I'm like, these are technically the way your hormones are supposed to gradually decline, but they have physical manifestations. They have physical manifestations in your energy level, physical manifestations in your concentration. Some women cannot concentrate at work. They're having trouble remembering things. It starts affecting their memory. This hormonal
Exactly.
imbalance makes them think maybe I have to retire early. Maybe I'm no
Mm-hmm.
longer good at my job. All the younger ones are going to take over my position. So it becomes a problem. And so I show them their hormone levels and I tell them one of the things we can do is we can replace these hormones, right? We can replace them. We can do it safely. If you have a good doctor that's checking your blood pressure, checking your mammogram, checking your liver enzymes, you can take hormones safely. Now, for those who don't want to take hormones, there are all these other medications that can help them, especially women who are having trouble sleeping. It can help them with sleep. It can help them. There are these home medicines called antidepressants, but they are not for depression. The dosing for antidepressants for depression might be like 150, but the dose for menopause or concentration issues, sleep issues, mood issues can be like 75 milligrams or 37.5 milligrams. One thing we notice, women are, as they get into menopause, can become irritable. They no longer have capacity to deal with things. They get angry easily. Their family members are saying, "Is there something wrong with you? You seem to be less. You seem to be more angry." I get patients like that. They tell me their husbands are telling them they're more angry. It's a hormonal problem. It's not a problem with the woman, right?
Wow.
It's a hormonal problem. Some people they're depressed. Some people,
Mm.
there's newfound depression when they're entering into menopause. Some people, it's this fatigue. They cannot get up in the morning to do anything. There are things we can do, lifestyle things such as exercise.
That's right.
Now, what if people don't have time to exercise? It doesn't have to be a great amount of exercise. It could just be increasing your walking. As you're increasing your walking, you're increasing your body's metabolism. It's allowing blood to flow to your brain, so you feel more alert. You are able to sleep better. And so, there are some women that those things work for, but there are some women that symptoms are so severe they need medication. My point is, I don't want you to be afraid of medication. These things have systematic causes. And so we know the systematic causes, we can address the systematic causes. And if hormones is not the right thing, then the other non-hormone medication are fine. Some people use supplements. I can't really speak to supplements because I don't know the science behind supplements. But I know the science behind the hormones and I know the science behind the non-hormonal medication.
Thank you, doctor. There's a question
Yes.
here because we would like to would like you to be answering some of these questions. But
Yes.
before that question in the chat by Mr. Ogunake, does it mean that it's possible to check our hormonal level? You spoke about checking the level. I don't think I've ever. If
Yes,
we go to the
absolutely.
doctor, we
Checking,
can ask
checking.
them to check the hormonal level, and that will
Yes.
show how they will treat us. Is that what you mean?
Right. So the question is, why do some women struggle with sex and some do not? Everybody's different. Everybody's different. The home life is important. Like I said at the beginning, for the woman, sex starts in the mind. She
Yes.
has to feel appreciated. She has to feel loved. She has to have an emotional connection with her husband. You
Yes.
cannot compare one woman to the other, one relationship to the other. There might be a connection, an emotional connection in this particular relationship that is not in this particular relationship. Or so that's one level. The other level is hormone levels.
That's
Is
right.
this woman can be 38 and her testosterone is 65. This woman
Hmm.
can be 38 and her testosterone is 4. They are
Hmm.
going to have different sexual desire, energy level, interest in sex, right? Now, also, this woman may have had vaginal deliveries. Vaginal deliveries affect the vagina. Vaginal deliveries cause tears and wears in the vagina. Vaginal deliveries can cause vaginal dryness. This woman might have had a C-section that did not affect the vaginal walls and the vaginal environment. And so, when you're asking why do some women struggle with sex,
That
the
different.
experience of the woman is completely different, right? The
Mm,
home life is different. The hormone levels are different. Their experiences with pregnancy
that's
is
right.
different. Some people after pregnancy they start having urine leakage in
Wow.
their 30s. They start
Mm,
having urine leakage where they cough or sneeze and they leak urine.
mm,
The pelvic floor is weakening. Those
mm,
things can affect a woman. They can cause embarrassment, can affect a woman's interest. They can start having the vagina fall out because they had a vaginal delivery, right?
that's right.
So there are so many processes that a woman goes through that there needs to be communication and understanding between the woman, the husband, and the doctor to understand why these things are happening so they can come up with the best plan for, for both of you to thrive, for both of you to have your best relationship. Some of these things are not because the woman doesn't want to. Some of these
Yes.
things are because something is going on. Hormonal imbalance is causing her to be moody and to be depressed.
Mm,
Hormonal imbalance is causing her to be non motivated. Hormonal imbalance is causing her to be fatigued and tired all the time.
mm.
You know, I check everybody's hormones, because when I show them the evidence and they recognize that, oh, yes, my testosterone should be 150, but my testosterone is 60. That's why I'm tired all the time. My testosterone should be 60, but I'm really 4. That's why I have no sex drive and interest. So it's very, very important to
Doc, doctor,
have that
sorry, is
conversation.
it the same treatment if the hormonal level of a man is low too? Is it the same treatment for a man and woman? Because
Yes,
a
actually,
man
for
can have that
men,
too. Is it
yeah.
the same? Okay,
So
it's
for
just
men, their own manifestations are fatigue and low sex drive, also
okay.
erectile dysfunction.
Erectile
Those
dysfunction.
things are drawn back to low testosterone. And so
Okay,
for men, by the time we're checking their levels, we got to make sure the prostate is fine. They don't have any heart problems. Giving them testosterone can turn their lives around. I have
talking about prostrate,
men like
does it
that.
affect sex performance? Does it affect the sex libido of a man if a man is diagnosed with prostrate?
So the
Can it
prostate
affect?
issues are different in that prostate issues are either prostate enlargement, so that they're
Okay,
not able to, they have trouble with urinating.
okay,
It's different from erectile dysfunction, where they don't have sex drive and are not able to maintain an erection or gain an erection. In
okay.
those cases, it might be, are they on blood pressure medicine? There are
Mm,
lots of things. It's
there
a
are a lot
whole
of
profile.
things. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, what medications are they on that might be affecting their sex drive? Is it a blood pressure medicine? Is it a heart medication? If it's none of those things, then is it a testosterone problem? And so
Okay.
it depends on what is the cause. That's why I'm always saying, what is the cause, so that we can address the cause. And if at the end of the day you don't choose medication, there are lifestyle changes that we can do to help
Lifestyle
both of
changes.
you
Okay.
still have a healthy relationship.
Now, doctor, sorry, I want you to talk about vaginal dryness. How can
Yes.
women deal with that? There are a lot of
Yes.
issues coming up
Yes.
from that, and there are a lot of
So
consequences if you have vaginal dryness. Like,
absolutely, absolutely. Vaginal dryness can be very, very disruptive because it causes urinary tract infections. There are some women every month they're having a urinary tract infection. After sex, they have a urinary tract infection. They have to be taking antibiotics all the time.
can you
It makes
imagine?
sex very, very painful. Very pain. It can cause bleeding.
Hmm.
It can cause bleeding. It can cause pain. There were women that they called me to the emergency room to repair, to put stitches in the vagina because she had a big tear in the vagina. So vaginal dryness and it happens because of loss of estrogen. As
Okay.
women get older, estrogen level goes down. Vagina needs estrogen. So it happens because of loss of estrogen. So some people can use lubricants. Lubricants can help women tolerate sex. But my issue is I don't think sex should be tolerable. I hear that a lot. Like, oh, it helps me to tolerate it. Why are you tolerating sex in your relationship? It's supposed to be a connection of intimacy between you and your husband. Why are we at the level that I'm just tolerating it? That's not thriving,
At
right?
all.
I believe in, you coming together and communicating. It's very important to communicate with your partner. And so for vaginal dryness, what I tell women is, after I check their hormones and I do an exam, we ask about what soaps are you using? Are you using soaps that are cleaning off your good bacteria?
Hmm.
Scented soaps, fragrant soaps, all these types of soaps can also
Affect.
affect the
Eh,
pH balance of
that's
the
right.
vagina.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and
That's
can
right.
cause infections, pH imbalance. pH imbalance can then lead to vaginal dryness. The other one, like I said, is loss of estrogen. So I can give some women vaginal estrogen. Now, there's new evidence that shows that vaginal estrogen is safe. Even in breast cancer patients, there's now evidence that allows us to give vaginal estrogen to women who had breast cancer. Remember, breast cancer sometimes is estrogen dependent, and they told us in the past never ever to let those women see estrogen again. But those women, we give them chemotherapy, which kills off their ovaries, so they don't
Hmm.
have estrogen from their ovaries. We give
Okay.
them medication that antagonizes every form of estrogen in their body.
Wow.
The vagina suffers greatly. It's
Quickly.
it's narrow, it's tight, it's painful. They're not even sexually active with their husbands. And so
Hmm.
for those women, more evidence has shown that we can give them estrogen, but it's okay if people don't want to risk that. There are oils. There are oils on the internet, Chinese herbs oils. They come in a tablet. You put it in the vagina every 7 days or every 3 days. It moisturizes the vagina. So it's
That's
not
right.
something you have to grab a lubricant when it's time to be sexually active. You
Hmm.
have daily, monthly moisturizing,
Wonderful.
and it helps with the health of the vaginal environment. So you're not getting vaginal infections, pH imbalance, urinary tract infections, or bladder infections.
Hmm.
The one that I have recently found the best result with is vaginal laser, and I offer that in my office. So for women who don't want to be putting a tablet inside the vagina, women who don't want to use estrogen, the laser therapy is a one-time treatment. It repairs the vagina, gives it new.
Is it a new thing in the market,
That
or
no, it's been around.
it's been
It's been around
around?
for a
Okay.
long time.
Wow.
All
Because
these
I'm just
places like
hearing that. It
all
was
these
one of your
medical
message that I had.
spas.
It was one of your
Oh,
previous
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. No, all these
Okay.
medical spas have them. So I think doctors, I think doctors are behind the ball in not getting in front of this non-hormonal, non-medication treatment of vaginal dryness. But my point is, I want us to understand that vaginal dryness happens to women as they get older because they're losing estrogen.
Wow.
Low sex drive happens to women as they get older because they're losing their hormones.
Sorry, doctor. Does it
Estrogen.
mean that you don't need to get to menopausal stage before you have vaginal dryness?
Nope.
I thought it's only
Nope.
people, only those who have reached menopause that have issue with vaginal dryness.
In
No.
general, in
Okay.
general,
Okay.
right? In general, it's people who have reached menopause. But I see people who are breastfeeding who are struggling with vaginal dryness.
Wow.
Remember, I said anything that lowers your estrogen
Hmm.
will cause vaginal dryness. So
Okay.
sometimes it might be some medications you have to take that
Hmm.
is lowering your estrogen that is causing vaginal dryness. And so in those cases, understanding between the partners is important. The husband understanding that this is a medical problem and we should have a medical solution. So there should be no blaming. There should be no, oh,
That's right.
she just doesn't want to. There should be no shaming each
That's
other.
right.
There should be a communication about what exactly is the problem.
Yes, exactly.
How exactly can I satisfy you as my wife? How can I satisfy you as my husband?
Husband, that's true.
Remember, for women, and especially a woman whose hormones are low, who you might have to do a little more work to stimulate her. Emotional connection is very
Exactly. Hmm.
important. Emotional, you have to be emotional. Listen to her, talk to her, check on her, let her feel like you love her, she matters to you. She's
Wow.
emotionally connected with you that way to be easier for initiating sex. What I have found with my patients is that when they're treated with hormones or when they're treated with the laser and the physical problem is addressed, the women are the ones initiating sex with their partners. I had a patient who had this bladder problem. Anytime if she even thinks that she has to pee,
Hmm.
if she doesn't go to the bathroom right away, she'll pee on herself.
Wow.
And so we were doing bladder things. I was checking her urine. Do you have an infection in your urine? Why are you having this urinary urgency? And then we realized it was due to vaginal dryness. And then I
Wow.
treated her with laser. And
And that
now
was
she's
wow.
after one treatment, she can hold her urine. She doesn't have to get to an event and go to the bathroom to empty her bladder so that she doesn't have to rush out of the program to go and
Knowledge is
clean
power.
back
Wow.
and forth. And so these things that women deal with or women manage,
Hmm.
these are things that they have physical
Yes.
problems that they can be the solutions can be
Hmm.
managed. So
Thank
my thing is don't assume just because it's because I had children vaginally, it's because I had a C-section, it's because I'm in menopause, it's because I'm getting older. Find out. There might be a very simple solution for what you're
that's true.
going through. If you don't find out, you continue suffering. You
Hmm.
continue suffering through that. And
Unnecessary
you now find a
suffering.
group of people who are suffering like you.
Hmm.
All these people, they have groups. They're like, my friend has goes through the same thing. I'm like, why are all of you going through the same thing? And nobody's asking questions, nobody's looking for solutions.
Oh
And so,
my
as a
God.
gynecologist, a women's health advocate, I'm always educating women about
Thank you.
your life should not go down just because you're getting older.
Thank you.
You should be thriving. Just if something is wrong, something is disrupting your life, find out. Find out from an expert. Do not find out from your friends or find out from an expert. If
Hmm.
this doctor will not talk about it, go to another doctor
Connect.
who's talking about it. That way you
That's
can find the best
that's
solution for
awesome.
yourself.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. You know, Dr. Taiwo Durowade has a YouTube
Yes,
channel,
ma'am.
and she there's a, I think is this series or the title of your this the uncommon knowledge. And you know
Yeah.
what she said is that she shares information that should be common but remains uncommon. And you, from what she's been talking about, I'm sure some of us can relate with that. She has this YouTube channel where she shares some informations about health that should be common, but they are not common. So it's like, I think you title it Uncommon Knowledge.
Uncommon
I will
knowledge.
share
Yeah.
her YouTube channel to you later. Please visit it. She's on Instagram. She's on. Each time I listen to her message, I'm always very blessed because it's either one thing or the other that I can relate to, or I've seen somebody who can relate to that. Thank you, doctor. Let's see
Yes.
your question. Are we so carried away with what she's
Yeah,
telling us that
there's
nobody?
a question here, Ma, that I want to address
Okay,
by Mrs. Busayo Akinton. It
okay,
said most Nigerian men, especially some that come from certain parts in the southwest, their ego and upbringing will make it difficult for them to help their wives in house chores. What
okay.
can be done to help the woman? Because as you rightly said, it affects sex drive. So in these cases, I tell my patients, if you are able to outsource it.
That's true.
Find somebody to do it for you. You cannot do everything yourself. You
Hmm,
have to be intentional
that's true.
about
Intentional.
your own health. So if doing going to work 9 to 5, taking care of the children, cleaning the house is not giving you time for yourself, you cannot be the wife you need to be for your partner. You are not going to be available physically, mentally, sexually, emotionally for your husband or for your partner. You have to be intentional, schedule it, schedule your alone time. So that time that maybe you are washing the dishes or scrubbing the floor, hire somebody to do it. There are people who do it for cheap money. Hire
That's true.
somebody to do it so that you are doing something else during that time. Maybe you are taking your alone time. You are getting your hair done. You're getting a manicure done. You're taking time for yourself. You're spending some time with your friends to recharge. That way, you don't feel exhausted and completely used, right? So it's very important that you are if you are not getting help from somewhere, you find help
Help.
somewhere else.
I
As
think
you
that's
know, I
wisdom.
understand finances and stuff, but outsource that. Find somebody else who can do that work for you, so you can take some time for yourself.
Hmm,
Because at the end of the day, if the woman crashes,
hmm.
if the
we
woman
have
crashes,
we have
most men
one
go
life.
go and remarry.
Yes. So, you know, that's wisdom, doctor. That is actually wisdom. You know why? If you have, thank you, you have even become a marriage counselor now. You are transiting from being a medical doctor to a marriage counselor. That's okay with us. You know, with that question that Sister Busayo asked, there are some men that they will tell you they can't help you with domestic chores and all this thing. But did you hear the doctor? You have to be intentional about your health, about your life, because we only have one life. That's what I tell people. And you need wisdom. Even the scripture says, if you lack wisdom, ask. What is the wisdom? Get help to do those things. Because
Yeah,
even at the end of the day, when you wear yourself out, you won't have pleasure in sex, you won't have pleasure in enjoying things that you are marriage is supposed to be pleasurable, but there
yeah,
are so many things that hinders us from enjoying it to the fullest, and this is one of the things we are talking about. So if you have a partner and you have tried all your possible best for him to help, there are some men, because of their upbringing, orientation, cultural setting and everything, they won't help. Look, and you're already married, there's always a way out, and the doctor has just shared the wisdom now. Thank you very much, Pastor Steve. Thank you for connecting us. Sister Vera, thank you for connecting us. Let's have your questions. The doctor, we have about 10 minutes more. I don't want doctor to go away without asking,
mhm.
without us utilizing that knowledge that she's going to share with us tonight. So if you have questions, please put it in the chat. Let's know where you are connecting us from. Please, ma, are you seeing that one, doctor? Please, ma, if menstrual
Yes.
period is irregular, can you answer that?
So for menopause, average age is 45 to 55.
Yes.
And so periods usually become irregular. Um, and you're skipping months. But what's important is when the period does come, is not you're not bleeding for 2 weeks, you're not bleeding for 3 weeks.
Hmm.
If it comes and it's still your regular period, okay, we can all rest and say it's because of you know, menopausal transition. But if it comes and you're bleeding for 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
That's
2 weeks,
normal.
is heavier than normal, then it's no longer, we shouldn't just think it's menopause. We need to
Mm,
investigate that.
that's right.
But for most women, if it's skipping months, is coming today, is not coming for 4 months, then it comes and it only lasts 3 days, okay, you are probably transitioning. But
Mm,
if it's heavier than that or painful or more alarming, then we should not think it's menopause. It
mm,
should be investigated.
Thank you, doctor. Any other question there? Mrs. Onamadi, I believe the doctor has answered that. Please, if you notice that the irregularity has a kind of, maybe you are bleeding more, it's, you need to check it. You need to investigate that. It's not normal. That's what the doctor said. Please, let's have your questions. We have about 10 more minutes. Let's have your questions in the chat. Now, doctor, can you still, while the questions are coming, like I said, you share information that should be common but are not common. Is there anyone that comes to your mind at this particular time? Because I know you have a lot of things to share with us. Is there anyone that comes
um
to your mind
any
that should
bleeding
be
any
common but is not
bleeding
common? So,
yes, any bleeding after menopause is cancer until proven otherwise.
hmm,
So somebody has gone through menopause, 12 months, no period.
hmm,
That's menopause. If suddenly they have bleeding after that, or they have pain after that, that needs to be investigated. People will say, oh, I was just working really hard. I was lifting too hard. That's why I had bleeding. No, 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 no. That bleeding needs to be investigated because once you are in menopause, your uterus is not supposed to be active anymore. So if there's any activity in the uterus that's causing bleeding, that needs to be investigated. That's something I feel like a lot of women don't know and they ignore, you
hmm.
know? And so I always tell my patients it's cancer until we prove that it is not. For most women, it's not cancer. But our job is to do an ultrasound, do a biopsy, and make sure because uterine cancer can actually be cured if it's found very early. If it's found at stage 0, if it's found at stage 1, those things after surgery, done. But if you ignore it and it becomes worse and is now stage 3, stage 4, those things are harder to manage. So I always tell my patients not to ignore any bleeding after menopause.
There's a question here, doctor. If you're having irregular menstruation, it comes once in 2 months and flows normal when it comes, and you are yet to be 30, what could be the cause?
Period should be every month. Period should be every month. There could be, a thyroid problem can cause irregular periods. PCOS, I don't know if we've heard of PCOS, is very common, can cause irregular periods. Basically, if you're not taking hormones, yeah, you're not on birth control, and your period is not every month, then something is the cause of the irregularity and it should be investigated. So your blood work needs to be checked, ultrasound needs to be done. And at the end of the day, everything might be normal. And so we just have to help that woman when it comes time to have a baby. Because if you're not having a period every month, then it means that you might have trouble getting pregnant because for you to have a period every month, you have to release an egg every month. If the egg is not fertilized, then you have a period. So if you're not having a period and the egg is not fertilized, then what's happening to the ovaries? What's the process that's going on? So we look at medications, we look at ultrasound, we look at blood work, we look at thyroid, we look at hormones. So the lots of things that could be disrupting that picture. So that should definitely be investigated.
Doctor, okay, while we have questions coming, I want you to talk about, because I've heard your message too about young girls having painful period, or
Mm,
people generally having painful period, how they can deal with that. And there are some solutions you profile, and I was saying, wow, we didn't know this. Some people suffer painful period for years when we were
mm.
much younger with no knowledge of how to deal with it.
How to
Can you
deal with
just
it?
1 or 2 minutes? Because there's
Yes,
another question I want to ask you too.
yes. So for painful periods, like I said, there could be primary, meaning we don't know, there's no cause. We haven't found it, especially those ones who are 16, 17. But there could be secondary, something is causing the pain. And so if there's no cause, we can't find the cause, we recommend that they take a pain reliever before the pain starts. A lot of people take pain reliever after the pain has started. And so here's what's happening with pain medication. The pain signal is going to the pain center, right? The pain signal is attaching to the pain center. The pain medication is now coming, trying to kick off the pain signal off the pain center. So that can take 30, 45 minutes before it works. If you take your pain medicine before, then the pain medicine is sitting on the pain center. And when the pain signal comes, the pain signal does not have anywhere to attach on the pain center. And so that's how your perception of pain goes down. And that's how you can reduce painful periods. So I tell people, track your periods. If you're able to track your periods, I know my period is going to start on Wednesday. Monday, you have started taking your pain medicine. And it could be over the counter, paracetamol, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, Tylenol. So you block off all your pain centers in the uterus, in the pelvic area, so that when the pain signals are now coming from your periods, they don't have anywhere to attach, or even if they attach, it's minimal attachment and they don't transmit heavy pain.
Mm,
And so that's one option, especially for people who don't want birth control. For other people, it's birth control. Like I said, birth control pills is not just for birth control, and it doesn't have to be pills. There's so many different birth control things that I do in my office. I do the implants, I do the IUD, I do the shot, I do so many different kinds of birth control. I do the patch. And so it's not, birth control is not just for preventing pregnancy. Birth control is not going to make girls promiscuous. Birth control helps them to reduce their pain.
You know, doctor,
Yes.
sorry that I remember when I listened to that message, I had to send a question to that. Look, Taiwo, don't
Don't
encourage.
encourage birth control.
This is what we talk about. Knowledge is power. When she described how you can deal with painful period, and I saw birth control, I said, for a young girl, for those of us that have young girls, so you are going to recommend, and she explained. Knowledge is really power. Honestly, knowledge is
Mhm.
really power. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very
Yes, ma'am.
for those of us who have daughters who have painful period. Those are the ways you can deal with it. Don't let them just suffer in pain. When
Yes.
we were much younger, they will say, it's normal. You have painful period and
No,
you'll be
it's
dealing
not.
with it. You will for that 5 days. Oh my God.
Mm.
But now things are different. You can deal with it. You can help your daughter. You can help yourself. There are some, we even had this. I don't know whether it's myth that until you start giving birth, you must have that pain. Is it really true? I think I
No.
remember that now, doctor. I remember they used to tell us when we were young that if you have painful period until you have your first child, though, you will have that period, that pain. Is it really true, doctor?
Even after so
Mm,
the thing with painful periods is that, it's your perception of the pain. The uterus is cramping, the
mm,
uterus is transmitting pain.
mm,
What's in the birth control is progesterone. Progesterone is an anti-pain medicine. So instead of the ibuprofen or the Tylenol, the progesterone is a hormone that helps with reducing inflammation. And so that's how it helps women with painful periods. So even after they have children, you know, once the periods start back up, the same process that was there before will start back again. So having children does not mean that your periods will change. For
mm,
some women it will change, but for most women it just goes back to how we used to be. So
mm,
if they had painful periods before their children, they might continue to have painful periods after children. And so it always is in the moment, right now, what are the causes of the problem? Just because everybody's going through it does not mean that it's normal. A lot of people say, "Oh, my mom went through it, and my sister went through it," and so that's just how we are. It's
that's
not normal. Anything that's disrupting your life is not normal.
no,
Uh,
that's thank you. Thank you,
yes, ma'am.
doctor. We have few minutes left. Okay, there's a question here. At what age can a lady go into early menopause? Can one determine
A-
that? I don't know.
yeah, average age is 45 to 55. Menopause before age 45 is considered early. And that has a lot of problems because remember, your estrogen is protective. Estrogen helps your mood. Estrogen helps your bones. Estrogen helps the vagina. Estrogen helps the brain. That's why when estrogen is going down, women are having concentration problems, mood problems, vaginal dryness. And so if you're experiencing those things early, the estrogen effect on your bones is less. You can have bone loss. You can have fractures in your bone. Estrogen effect on your brain, it increases the risk of dementia. So early menopause is not a good thing.
Hmm.
So for any age less than 45 is considered early. And for those women, we strongly recommend hormone replacement because the benefits of the estrogen outweigh the risks at that point. Because as long as we're looking at the whole woman, blood pressure, looking at mammogram, looking at all those things, we can safely give her hormones to protect her heart. Estrogen protects women from heart attack. You will see men are having heart attack maybe in their 40s or 50 or early 50s. That's very rare for women.
Hmm.
Women, if they're having heart attack, probably in their 60s, because at
Okay.
that point, estrogen is completely gone. So women who are
Okay.
having estrogen early menopause, they're losing estrogen before they're 45. They can have heart attack in their 40s and 50s. So
Wow.
estrogen is very protective.
Hmm.
And early menopause is a big problem. So that
Hmm.
should be evaluated immediately.
Thank you. There's a question here. I know we'll round up soon because you say it's between 8 and 9. Some people experience migraine. What is the cause of
It's
migraine
a
during the
hormonal
period?
balance thing. It's a hormonal balance thing as well. It's a signaling thing to the brain. We call them premenstrual migraines. It's important to know your triggers. It's important to track your periods. For women who are having this, birth control is what we have.
Hmm.
You know, there are some people who'll be using migraine medicine. Migraine medicine can work, but if it's related to your periods, it's better to what birth control does is it levels your hormones, because during your period your hormone is rising, falling, rising, falling. Estrogen rises, then falls, then progesterone rises, then falls. Your body's reacting to all these hormone fluctuations.
Hmm.
What birth control does is gives you a steady state of hormones, so you
Hmm.
have your regular estrogen, regular progesterone, same level throughout the month, so you're not having that up and down that causes the fluctuations, the PMS, the migraines. And so for most people, you can either take migraine medication. You can identify your triggers. Is it that you did not eat and that's what brought on the migraine? Is it that you did not sleep? Is it that you're fatigued? Some people have triggers like that. But if you don't have triggers and it's related to your period, birth control is what we have for it. Hormonal fluctuation is the cause, and leveling the hormone or balancing the hormone is what can help us treat that.
Thank you, doctor. I think before we round up, I'm sure we are rounding up. Yeah, if we have any question there, but because I want you to give us your parting wisdom. When
Mm,
we say this, the theme of this today's live streaming is to be empowered to thrive. And I want you to give us the parting wisdom. How
mm,
can we thrive as we are getting older? Like I said, when we are getting older, lots of issues come up, and you begin to think, you assume that is because of my age, I'm getting older. But like you said, it's a time to thrive. So before you go, you just give us few tips how uh, we can thrive as we get older. I don't want to say how older people, so that people won't think it's only for old people. But as we grow older, how can we thrive? How can we enjoy good health? Now, before that, doctor, I want you to talk about this HRT, hormonal replacement therapy. Some of us were not really, when we reach menopause, we were not properly informed, even
mm,
despite living in UK. Let me tell you, they just give me some paper handout and all this thing. We were not really, it was few years later, after reaching menopause, I now started having some health challenges. And this
mm,
issue of what hormonal replacement therapy are you, and I said, what? And I remember
mm,
the doctor just mentioned it briefly, but he didn't really, she didn't help me to actually take
mm,
decision. Do you understand? And
mm, yes.
honestly, I suffered a lot until I knew better. So
Mm,
I'm passionate to share this knowledge with women, especially those who have reached menopause.
mhm,
So in 2 or 3 minutes, I know our time is gone.
mhm,
This issue of hormonal replacement therapy,
mhm,
some of us, we are scared to take the one. There's several ones they will recommend for you don't want. But
mhm,
what will you just advise for those who have reached
mhm,
menopause on the issue of, because it's necessary. When
mhm,
you reach menopause, you need to be on something to help your hormones.
mhm.
So is there any, before your party wisdom? Ask
Um,
any question.
so like I said, I always look at the whole woman, right? So I look at her health history, I look at her family history. If there is, I make sure she's gotten her mammogram done. The fear of hormone replacement therapy is that it can cause stroke, heart attack,
Mhm,
breast cancer, high
mhm,
blood pressure, and all those
mhm.
things. But in the research, they found that the women who suffered these things were mostly in their 60s and 70s. So
Okay.
the women who were in their 40s and 50s did not suffer heart attack, did not have breast cancer, did not have any of these things with hormone
Mhm.
replacement therapy. And
Okay.
so if I have a woman who doesn't have a family history of breast cancer, who has her mammograms and her mammograms are normal, who has normal blood pressure, or she has high blood pressure but she's on medication and the blood pressure is controlled,
Mm-hmm.
then this woman is a good candidate for hormone replacement therapy.
Okay.
And there are different kinds. It could come in the form of a pill, it could come in the form of a patch. It could come in form of an injection. I do the injections because they last longer. They last the woman 3 to 4 months. So it's not a pill she has to take every day, and it's not a patch she has to put on every week or twice a week. And the injection, like I said, the ones I use are from plants. They're called bioidentical, so they're not synthetic. They're not made from the pharmaceuticals. And so, like I said, we have safer ways to give hormones to women, and hormones
Okay.
are protective. Estrogen protects you. Now, let's say you're not a good candidate for hormones. There are the antidepressant medications I talked about earlier. The antidepressant medicines basically help to manage symptoms. They help with mood symptoms, they help with sleep, they help with hot flashes. They help with sweating. There's some women they're sweating profusely in the middle of the day. In the middle of they have to change their clothes. They have to go and put a shower twice a day because they're sweating so much. Those antidepressant medicines can help with that. Now, the hormone replacement therapy will help with the sex drive, will help with the
Okay.
vaginal dryness
It's
part.
okay.
The antidepressant medicines will not. So these are the things we weigh. I tell the
Okay.
woman, what is the biggest symptom you're having with menopause? Is it sleep and hot flashes? Okay, we don't have to do hormones. Is it vaginal dryness and low sex drive? We probably have to do hormones. And then we come up with the plan of which is the best type of hormone to use. So the research has shown that we can give hormones safely. The fear of hormones was a misunderstanding really of the study. The study
Yes.
was more, they were seeing this breast cancer and heart attack and stroke
Exactly.
happening to
Nobody wants to.
women who are in their 60s and 70s, not women who are in their 40s and 50s.
Okay.
But if
Okay.
anybody has cancer, everybody runs. So as long as you're under the care of a doctor who's monitoring these things, your blood pressure, your mammogram, your liver, like you're getting care, you can get hormones safely. So I'm a big proponent of hormone replacement therapy. I give my patients hormone replacement. And for those who, after all this talking, they don't want it, we have other options that they can use as well.
We should talk to our doctors. Thank you very much,
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Taiwo Durowade. Your parting wisdom now. I
Yes,
know we
ma'am.
can't, I know God will give you time again to talk to us. I'm praying that the Lord will give you that opportunity again. We will be honored to have you more. I don't want to say once again, by the grace of God. So I know because we can't finish this in a day, but can you give us your parting wisdom so that we can release you? We are so grateful. Please put
Yes,
it in
ma'am.
the chat. Show your love to doctor in the chat.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
her. Appreciate her.
Thank
If you have
you.
been blessed, I've been seeing some messages. Please do appreciate her. If you are still online, appreciate this
Thank you.
wonderful, amazing doctor. Thank you,
Thank
Tai.
you.
Give us your parting wisdom.
So my parting wisdom is to be intentional.
Mm,
Um, don't let life happen to you. Don't don't be in a place where you are reacting to everything, um schedule your time with your family, schedule your time with yourself, schedule
mm,
your time to take care of yourself.
mm,
If something is happening to you, don't ignore it. Don't think I'm just getting older. That's what
mm,
happened to my mom.
mm,
There might be simple solutions to it that can help you live a healthier life, a happier. You're just a happier person as you get older. As
mm,
your children are leaving the house, that's when it's just you and your husband. That's not the time for low sex drive. That's not the time for vaginal dryness. There are solutions to that that can help you enjoy that new phase of your life, when you have a free nest, or the nest is the way they say. So I my parting words is be intentional. Don't ignore yourself. Don't neglect yourself. As women, you've given a lot of yourself already.
mm,
Childbearing, raising the children.
mm,
When it's your time, don't now suffer in that time.
mm.
Those are my words. Thank
We
you.
we can't we can't thank you enough, doctor. Thank you so much. We
Yes,
are
mom.
grateful for the wisdom you've imparted to us. I'm sure
Yes,
we've
mom.
all been blessed tonight, and we would love to have you more because you've been a blessing to us. You've been a
Thank you
blessing
so
to my
much.
community, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank
And
you,
we
mom.
pray that the Lord will continually use you for this generation. The Lord will
Amen.
continually use you and strengthen you in Jesus' name.
Amen.
The
Amen.
wisdom
Amen.
that you need in your medical practice, the Lord will continually give unto you. It will increase
Amen.
in wisdom. In
Amen.
Jesus' name, we do
Amen.
appreciate
Amen.
you. We
Thank you
appreciate you.
so much.
And we
Thank you.
love to have you back. I know people have been, appreciating you in the chat. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Only the Lord will reward you because,
Amen.
this is just awesome. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
you.
Ma.
Thank you,
Yes, Ma.
Doctor. Thank you. We are grateful.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Wow, wow, wow. Amazing evening, my family. Thank you very much. I'm sure we were all blessed. Please subscribe to this channel because every month, twice a month, we always discuss one thing or the other that impact families, that impact our lives. So subscribe to this channel. Then most of these messages we will upload it on our YouTube channel later. So I believe we've been blessed tonight. Thank you very much for connecting us. And if you've been blessed, please share the link to others. Let them learn from what we have had tonight from the doctor. I know most of us, we have daughters that will benefit from most of this talk, and some of us will benefit from it. Thank you very much, Mrs. Onamade. Thank you for connecting us. Thank you, Sister Sheung. Thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate you. And we know you've been blessed. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, let's have your comments. Let's have your question. What do you want us to talk about? Every month, twice a month, we'll be bringing resource people to talk to us. And if you check the live streaming we have done, the previous one, we've talked about parenting, we talked about marriage, we talked about, there are a lot of things we are going to talk about. So the ones we've done, you can check it so that you will be blessed through it. But like I said, we'll still upload some of this video on our YouTube channel later. So please subscribe to the channel and share it to others. It's for us to be blessed and to be impacted. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. and Mrs. Olawale, we appreciate you, sir. Oh, Sister Vera, thank you very much. God bless you. God renew your strength, ma. Thank you so much. Sister Dorcas, God bless you. God bless you. Thank you very much for connecting. I believe we were all been blessed. Sister Mary, wow. Sister Mary, is it from Sweden? Wonderful. Thank you for connecting us tonight. I believe you were blessed too. Thank you so much, everyone. See you again 2 weeks time on another thing. Like I said, we're bringing different things. We talk about immigration. We talk about our health. We talk about marriage. We talk about family. Connect to this channel. Thank you, Sister Abigail. Thank you. Oh, Sister Pastor Excel from Sweden. Thank you very much for connecting us. God bless you. Thank you, everyone. We are grateful. God bless you. Join us in 2 weeks time again. Connect us on our social media to know what we have next. Thank you very much. Sister Mary from Sweden. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for connecting us. Thank you so much. We are grateful. Thank you. Thank you for connecting us tonight. I just want to sign us out with the Pastor Excel. You are rising. Yes, I see you rising. Thank you, family members. Subscribe to our channel and share it to others. Let them be blessed by the message of this evening.
And the kings to the brightness of your rising. The Gentiles shall come to your light. And the kings to the brightness of your rising. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. The Gentiles shall come to your light. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. I see you, you are rising. The Gentiles shall come to your light. Arise and shine. Your light is
That music is by Pastor Excel Okogu from Sweden. Check our YouTube channel. You are rising. Family members, you are rising. Yes, Gentiles shall come to your light. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm signing out now. God bless you. This is Taiwo Kayode. Oh, Mrs. Oriaku, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. We are grateful. Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
your light is shining. I see it
Thank you. God bless everyone. Sister Abigail, thank you. Sister Yemisi, Sister Oluwaseun, thank you. Bye. See you in 2 weeks' time.